Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to the pod. I'm Sloane, and I am currently sitting here with a triple shot espresso and a to-do list that is, quite frankly, threatening to gain sentience and take over my apartment.
Only one list, Sloane? You're showing restraint today. I'm Arlo, and I'm joining you with a cup of herbal tea and exactly 0 notifications on my lock screen.
0? How do you even sleep at night? If I don't see at least 45 unread emails, I feel like I've ceased to exist in the professional world. But honestly, that's exactly why we're here today. I'm tired, Arlo. I'm genuinely, down to my marrow, exhausted.
I hear you, and you aren't alone. Today, we are kicking off a 6-part series on what the world is calling the quiet ambition era. It's this massive tectonic shift where people, especially the younger generation, are looking at the corner office and saying, "No thanks, I'd rather have my Saturday mornings back."
It's a total rejection of hustle culture. For years, I thought if I wasn't burning the candle at both ends, I was failing. I thought the wax melting in the middle was just the smell of success. Self-deprecating chuckle.
That's a dangerous sense, Sloane. Let's get into Module 1, the death of the hustle. So, Sloane, let's talk about the grind set. For decades, the badge of honor was how little you slept and how much you sacrificed.
Oh, absolutely. I remember my first job in the city. I'd be at my desk by 7 a.m., keeping my nose to the grindstone until the cleaning crew arrived at 9 p.m. I felt like a hero. I'd post photos of my desk on Instagram with #HustleHard. But then I realized nobody was cheering. I was just getting more work because I was the one who always said yes.
That's the trap, isn't it? We were taught that if we just put in our time and paid our dues, there would be this magical pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. But the rainbow kept moving. That's why we're seeing this rise in quiet ambition. It's not about being lazy, it's about redefining success.
You know, I read a study that said Gen Z is the first generation to prioritize work-life balance over career progression in their top 3 life goals. When I first read that, the old Sloane inside me scoffed. I thought, where's the drive? Where's the fire? But then I looked at my own burnout. I realized they aren't lacking fire. They're just refusing to let their employers be the ones to pour gasoline on it.
Exactly. It's a move from extrinsic motivation, the titles, the bonuses, the fancy business cards, to intrinsic motivation. People want to be successful parents, successful painters, or successful friends. The job is just the engine that funds the life. It's the shift from living to work to working to live.
I remember my dad telling me, Sloane, you have to climb the corporate ladder if you want to be anyone. And I did. I climbed. But Arlo, well, when I got a few rungs up, I looked over the side and realized I was afraid of heights, and I didn't even like the view from the top. It was just more meetings and more stress.
That's a powerful realization. It's that feeling of disillusionment. We were sold a dream of the corner office as the ultimate sanctuary, but in reality, for many, it's just a bigger cage with more responsibilities.
Wow, we got deep fast. I didn't expect to get misty-eyed over a corporate ladder metaphor.
That's the beauty of this topic. It's emotional because it's our time. It's our lives. When we talk about hustle culture, we're talking about the theft of our presence.
So for our listeners out there, are you punching the clock and feeling guilty about it? Or are you starting to realize that your worth isn't tied to your productivity?
We want to explore that nuance because you can still do a great job without letting that job consume your entire identity.
All right, Arlo. I'm going to put my phone on Do Not Disturb for the rest of this recording. Small steps, right?
Small steps. That's exactly how the revolution starts.
Okay, Arlo, you caught me. I'm sitting here crying over a metaphor about ladders. But seriously, why is it so hard to just stop climbing? It's like this internal motor is wired to believe that if I'm not moving up, I'm actually sliding down.
It's because we've been conditioned to see a career as a vertical line. If you aren't ascending, you're stagnant. But in the quiet ambition era, we're looking at breaking the ladder entirely. What if your career isn't a ladder, Sloane? What if it's a park? You can walk around, sit on a bench for a while, or take a different path entirely without it being a failure.
A park? That sounds lovely, but my bank account and my LinkedIn profile might disagree. There's so much pressure to reach that corner office. It's the ultimate status symbol. It's the I've made it moment.
But let's look at the psychology of the corner office. Usually that office comes with a view, sure, but it also comes with 24/7 accountability. It's a golden handcuff situation. You get the title, you get the raise, but you lose the one thing you can't buy back, your time.
Golden handcuffs. God, that hits home. I remember when my friend Maya got promoted to senior VP, we went out to celebrate, and she spent the entire dinner, 3 hours, Arlo, under the table on her phone. She was literally chained to her desk even when she wasn't at her desk. She had the fancy title, but she couldn't even finish her appetizers without a crisis breaking out in the Slack channel.
And that's the ceiling people are finally starting to see. It's not a glass ceiling of opportunity, it's a ceiling of sanity. Younger workers are looking at Maya and saying, I don't want her life. They're choosing a lateral move instead, moving sideways to a role that's more interesting but less demanding, or even just staying exactly where they are.
You know, there's actually a term for that in the industry now. It's called a professional plateau. And it used to be a dirty word. If you were plateauing, people thought you were lazy or that you'd lost your edge.
Exactly. But a plateau is a flat piece of ground. You can stand on it, you can breathe, you can look at the view. Why is staying in one place seen as a lack of ambition? Maybe the new ambition is to be so good at your job that you can do it in 30 hours and spend the rest of your time being a human being.
So instead of climbing the corporate ladder, we're just hanging out on the rungs?
Or maybe we're just getting off the ladder and having a picnic at the bottom.
A picnic. I can see the LinkedIn post now. Thrilled to announce I am staying exactly where I am for the 3rd year in a row. Blessed, no promotion wanted.
But there's a real fear there, isn't there? The fear of being left behind.
Yeah, that's the one. The fear that if I don't take the promotion, someone younger, hungrier, and more willing to eat, sleep, and breathe the company will pass me by. And then 10 years from now, I'll be irrelevant.
That's the rat race talking, Sloane. It's the belief that life is a competition against everyone else. But quiet ambition asks, who are you actually competing with? If you're happy, if your bills are paid, and you have time to see your friends, have you already won?
I think I've been so busy trying to get ahead that I never stopped to ask where ahead actually is.
Let's dive deeper into that why. We need to talk about intrinsic versus extrinsic motivation, because this isn't just a trend, it's a neurological shift.
Okay, Professor Arlo, lay it on me. Why are our brains suddenly rejecting the Employee of the Month plaques?
Well, extrinsic motivation is anything outside of yourself. The bonus, the title, the good job from your boss. It's like a hit of dopamine, but it wears off fast. You need more and more to feel the same high. That's why people keep climbing. They're chasing the next hit.
Ooh, ouch. I feel seen. I'm a total dopamine chaser. If my boss doesn't use at least 3 exclamation points in an email feedback, I spend the rest of the day wondering if I'm about to be fired. Nervously.
We all do, but intrinsic motivation is different. It's the internal satisfaction of doing something well because it aligns with your values. Quiet ambition is the process of shifting your success metrics from things your boss gives you to things you give yourself.
Like autonomy?
Precisely. Autonomy is the ultimate luxury, the ability to control your own time and your own energy. For the new generation, having the power to say, I'm not taking calls after 6 p.m. is worth more than a $5,000 raise that comes with the expectation of being on call all weekend.
It's about boundary setting. But God, Arlo, saying no feels like a sin in the corporate world. Whenever I try to set a boundary, I feel this massive wave of guilt, like I'm dropping the ball or being a bad team player.
Because the system is designed to make you feel that way. If you feel guilty, you'll work harder. It's a feature of the hustle culture machine, not a bug. But look at it this way. When you say yes to an extra project you don't have time for, what are you saying no to?
My sleep, my gym class, my dinner with my sister.
Right. You're robbing Peter to pay Paul. You're stealing from your personal life to pay a company that, let's be honest, would post your job opening on LinkedIn before your obituary was even finished if something happened to you.
Arlo, that's dark.
It's dark, but it's the truth. It's about self-actualization, finding out who Sloane is when she's not Sloane the project manager.
Who is Sloane when she's not working? Honestly, I think she's someone who likes to bake bread and read mystery novels, but I haven't seen her in a long time. I've been too busy keeping my head above water.
Well, maybe it's time to stop swimming for a second and just float. That's what quiet ambition is. It's the permission to float.
Okay, I'm starting to get it. It's not about doing a bad job. It's about doing a good job within a contained space.
Exactly. It's about excellence without obsession.
I like that. Excellence without obsession. It sounds like something I should needlepoint on a pillow. Okay, listeners, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back from Module 4, we're going to talk about the practical side. How do you actually draw a line in the sand without getting fired?
Stay tuned. We're just getting started.
Did I sound too dramatic when I mentioned the bread?
No, Sloane. Everyone loves a good sourdough origin story.
And we are back. Before the break, Arlo, you gave me a lot to think about with that excellence without obsession line. It sounds like a dream, but let's get real for a second. If I suddenly start saying no to late-night pings, my boss isn't going to send me a congrats on your quiet ambition card. They're going to think I've checked out.
That's the fear, and it's a valid one. Welcome to Module 4, Setting the Boundary, the Quiet Part. This is where the theory hits the pavement.
My career hits a brick wall. How do you actually draw a line in the sand without looking like you're slacking off? Because in my office, if you're the first one to leave at 5 p.m., it's like walking the gauntlet of judgment.
It's all about the professional plateau rebrand. You aren't checking out, Sloane. You are optimizing your output. See the difference? Exactly. The quiet in quiet ambition isn't about being silent. It's about being firm but low-key. You don't need to make a grand announcement that you're rejecting the hustle. You just start practicing radical reliability during work hours so that when 5 p.m. hits, your absence is earned.
So it's about being so good during the 9 to 5 that they can't complain when you're off the grid at 6 to 9.
Precisely. But there's a nuance here. You have to learn the language of refusal. Instead of saying, I can't do that, I'm tired, you say, I can certainly take that on, but which of my current high priority projects should I move to the back burner to make room?
Ah, Arlo, that is a power move. You're essentially making them responsible for your boundaries.
It's called upward management. You're showing them that you care about quality. If you're spreading yourself too thin, the quality drops. By saying no, you're actually protecting the company's interests.
I tried that once. My boss just looked at me and said, "We're all pulling double shifts right now, Sloane. We need you to take one for the team." I felt so small, like my time didn't belong to me, it belonged to the team.
That's a classic guilt trip tactic. The team is often used as a weapon to make individuals sacrifice their health. But remember, a team is only as strong as its members. If you're running on fumes, you aren't helping the team. You're a liability waiting to happen.
You're right. I need to stop robbing Peter to pay Paul. I need to realize that my yes has to mean something, which means my no has to exist.
That's the spirit. It's about work-life integration, not just balance. Balance implies a scale that's always tipping. Integration means your work has a designated box and it stays inside that box.
My box currently has no lid and is leaking all over my living room floor. But I'm working on it. I'm starting to put my foot down on weekend emails.
Good, because if you give them an inch, they'll take a mile.
Okay, let's talk about the elephant in the room. Or rather, the boomer in the room. No offense to any boomers listening. We love you.
We do, but there is a massive generational divide when it comes to this topic. To many in the older generation, quiet ambition looks a lot like quiet quitting.
My Uncle Frank is the perfect example. He worked for the same insurance company for 40 years. He paid his dues, he never missed a day, and he thinks my generation is, and I quote, allergic to hard work.
Uncle Frank is coming from a different world. In his era, the social contract was different. You gave the company your life, and the company gave you a pension, job security, and a gold watch.
Yeah, and today, I give the company my life, and they give me a pizza party and a restructuring notice 6 months later.
Exactly. The stigma around quiet ambition comes from a place where loyalty was actually rewarded. For Gen Z and millennials, we've seen the bottom line take priority over people too many times. We've watched our parents get laid off after 30 years of putting their nose to the grindstone.
That's so true. I watched my mom work through every single one of my dance recitals. She was always in the back row with a BlackBerry in her hand. She thought she was climbing the ladder for us, but now she's retired and she says her biggest regret is that she can't remember the music I danced to. Her voice cracked slightly.
She was there, but she wasn't there. That's heavy, Sloane. And that's exactly why the younger generation is rejecting the corner office. They saw the price their parents paid, and they've decided the math doesn't add up.
Man, Arlo, you really know how to bring the mood down.
Sorry, but we have to acknowledge the emotional baggage here. This isn't just about wanting to work less, it's about breaking the cycle of generational burnout.
It's a shift in work ethic. Uncle Frank thinks work ethic means how many hours you clock. I think work ethic means how much integrity you bring to the hours you do work, and then having the ethics to go home and be a present human being.
That's a beautiful way to put it. We're moving from quantity-based ambition to quality-based ambition.
But it creates so much friction. I feel like I'm constantly walking on eggshells around my older manager. I want to tell him, I'm not lazy, I'm just finished with my work. But I know he'll just see it as a lack of fire in my belly. It's a language barrier, honestly. They speak hustle, and we speak sustainable. The goal of this pod is to help bridge that gap, to show that you can have quiet ambition and still be a top performer. You just aren't willing to sacrifice your soul for a title that doesn't love you back.
So the next time Uncle Frank calls me a slacker, I should just tell him I'm disrupting the legacy of generational trauma through strategic professional plateaus?
Maybe just tell him you're working smarter, not harder. It's a classic idiom. He might actually understand that one.
Good point. Keep it simple for Frank. Wow, we've covered a lot. From breaking the ladder to dealing with Uncle Frank. I'm feeling a little lighter. Like I have permission to not be the best at everything all the time.
You are the best at being Sloane, and that's a full-time job in itself.
Thanks, Arlo. Listeners, we're heading into our final module next, redefining the dream. We're going to talk about what life looks like when the corner office is no longer the destination.
We'll be right back. Hey, do you think Uncle Frank actually listens to this?
If he does, he's definitely yelling at his headphones right now.
Welcome back to the final stretch, everyone. I have to admit, Arlo, I'm feeling different. I actually put down my coffee during the break and picked up a water bottle. Is this what turning over a new leaf feels like?
Hydration is the first step to enlightenment, Sloane. But yes, I think you're feeling the shift. We've talked about killing the hustle, breaking the ladder, and setting boundaries. Now we arrive at the biggest question of all. Module 6, redefining the dream.
This is the scary part for me, because if the dream isn't the corner office, what is it? I've spent 10 years thinking success looked like a glass desk and a view of the skyline. If I take that away, I feel a bit like a ship without a rudder. I'm just drifting.
Drifting implies you're lost, but I like to think of it as charting your own course. The old dream was pre-packaged. It was a one-size-fits-all suit that didn't actually fit anyone. The new dream, the quiet ambition dream, is bespoke. It's tailored to you.
Okay, but bespoke sounds expensive. I mean, practically speaking, if I'm not striving for the next promotion, am I just giving up? Is this where I admit I'm not special?
Absolutely not. You are redefining special. Think about the concept of slow living. It's not about being lazy, it's about being intentional. It's the difference between eating a sandwich while running to a meeting and sitting down to actually taste your food. Success in this era is defined by richness of time, not just richness of assets.
Richness of time. That hits hard. I have plenty of money in my savings account, but I'm usually broke when it comes to time. I'm always robbing Peter to pay Paul with my schedule. I'm realizing that maybe the dream is just having a Tuesday evening where I don't have to check my email.
Exactly. It's about holistic success, a success that includes your physical health, your relationships, and your hobbies. You mentioned baking earlier. Maybe the dream is becoming the best baker in your neighborhood while being a perfectly competent, reliable project manager during the day.
A perfectly competent employee. It doesn't have the ring as CEO, does it? But it sounds healthier.
It's about finding your equilibrium. In physics, equilibrium is a state of balance where opposing forces are equal. You have the force of work and the force of life. If work is always winning, the system collapses. Quiet ambition is just the physics of preventing a collapse.
I love that. I'm not slacking, I'm just respecting the laws of physics.
Whatever helps you sleep at night, Sloane. But seriously, think about the idiom, the grass is always greener. We used to look at the CEO and think their grass was greener, but now we know their grass is probably artificial turf and they haven't seen their kids in a week.
Yeah, the grass is greener where you water it. And I've been watering a concrete parking lot called My Career for too long.
So what happens if you start watering the other parts of your garden? That's the quiet ambition era. It's realizing that you are a jack of all trades, a friend, a partner, a creator, a thinker, and your job is just one of those trades. It's not the whole shed.
It's scary, Arlo, to step off the treadmill. I worry that people will judge me, that they'll say I lost my edge.
Let them judge. While they are running on the treadmills staring at a wall, you'll be outside walking in the actual park. Who is really winning?
I think I'm ready to go for that walk. Wow, what a journey. We've gone from burnout to boundaries to baking bread.
It's been a pleasure, Arlo. And to our listeners, we know this isn't easy. Shifting your mindset is harder than shifting your workload. It takes courage to be the one who leaves on time. It takes guts to say, this is enough.
Absolutely. If you're out there feeling guilty for resting or feeling like a failure because you aren't the VP of everything, stop. Take a breath. You are doing enough. You are enough.
And remember, Rome wasn't built in a day, and neither is a balanced life. Start small. Say no to one thing this week. Leave 10 minutes early on Friday. See how the world doesn't end.
The world will keep spinning, and your inbox will still be there on Monday. But your weekend? That belongs to you.
Well said.
Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into quiet ambition. If you like this episode, please subscribe and leave us a review. Unless you're too busy enjoying your life, in which case we totally understand.
We won't take it personally. Go live your life.
I'm Sloane.
And I'm Arlo.
And this has been The Quiet Revolution.
Hey, Arlo, seriously, you want to get a pastry after this? My treat.